You want the best guns in Battlefield 6 for every class, or technically every weapon category, for 2026. So here's my updated takes, so you can try them out and maybe dominate. As always, nobody likes exactly what everybody else likes, and nobody plays exactly the same way, so drop your recommendations in the comments if you want. Alright, let's get started with assault rifles. For me, the standout assault rifle heading into 2026 is the B36A4, which I absolutely wouldn't have imagined saying last year. This is one of those weapons that doesn't necessarily scream broken or overpowered immediately, but the more you use it, the more you realize how consistently strong it feels across basically every situation. It's just reliable, good handling, predictable recoil, and enough versatility that you're not forced into playing one specific way. I use it across the normal multiplayer and gauntlet, and it's become my absolute go-to gun. Attachment wise, we start with the Baker 3X sight, still one of my favourite zoom levels because it lets you check sight lines properly without making close range fights feel awkward. Then the standard suppressor up next, because staying off the minimap and reducing how visible you are in fights is still massively valuable as long as the rest of the build supports it, which this one does. Then the 510mm fluted barrel, which gives us a nice balance between improved consistency and maintaining good handling. Then the 6H64 vertical underbarrel for better control without ruining mobility or ADS feel. Onto the 40 round magazine so we can stay aggressive for longer and not constantly reload mid-engagement, especially if you are playing Gauntlet, and finishing with standard FMJ ammo, as I tend to not very often select different ammo types because it feels like a waste of points for most gun builds, not all but most. This weapon just lets you play naturally without forcing you into a specific rhythm and playstyle, and that's why it takes the assault rifle slot for me this time, and I expect to continue to use it a whole lot moving forwards. And quickly, if you enjoy builds and tips and videos like this and want regular Battlefield content in your feed, consider subscribing. I'm still chasing that 100k milestone because I want to finally give my dad that silver play button, and apparently I need your help to make it happen, so if you do, thank you very much. Right, moving on. Next up is carbines and the M4A1, and yes, it's still here from the last time I did my best guns list, but my perspective for this one has shifted slightly. Previously, I treated it mostly as a pure close range aggressive option, but now I think its real strength comes from how adaptable it becomes once you learn its recoil properly. 25 damage per bullet with a fast rate of fire means it still melts up close, but with the right setup it stretches surprisingly well into mid-range fights. Starting again with the Baker 3X scope, if you don't like that zoom level then obviously swap it, but for me it continues to hit that sweet spot. Then the 10-point green laser because it's cheap, effective, and helps with hip fire without forcing us into a specialized build. Then the standard suppressor again, same reasoning as usual. Onto the 14.5-inch carbine extended barrel for faster muzzle velocity, making the weapon feel much more viable outside of close range encounters. Also, alloy vertical underbarrel for improved control without sacrificing movement accuracy. Onto 30 round fast mag so we stay in the fight for longer, and then lightweight rounds to maintain that aggressive run and gun feel. Finishing off with the rail cover for faster weapon draw speed, which genuinely helps you get that first shot off in close engagements whilst maintaining accuracy rather than blasting away before you even know what you're looking at. Now onto SMGs, and yes, it's still the PW5A3. I absolutely love this SMG. If I'm playing specifically a close quarters mode, you can bet I'll be reaching for this weapon super often. It's extremely versatile for how I like to play, obviously strong up close, but what makes it stand out is how usable it feels beyond traditional SMG ranges when you control your shots. We have the BF2M 2.5x scope for slightly less magnification while still allowing you to scan the environment, 20-point green laser for excellent hip fire, 20-point standard suppressor because staying unspotted generally means staying alive longer, as I'm sure a lot of you know by now. I actually feel like there is a solid argument for changing spotting and suppressors in BF6, so a suppressor or flash hider isn't such a crutch or necessity for almost all weapon builds. Anyway, then we have the extended 245mm custom barrel to help with the longer range engagements, alloy vertical underbarrel, although honestly this weapon is stable enough that you could experiment with removing it if you want to invest the points elsewhere. Then the 30 round fast mag and standard FMJ ammo. It still feels like more than just an SMG while still doing SMG things, and that's why it stays on the list. Huge fan of this one. Onto the LMG category, and this time it's the RPKM in a significant change from last time. time. What I like about this weapon now is how it balances sustained fire with mobility. I know a lot of people will say the DRS is the one to go for if you want that kind of playstyle, but the RPK just works better for me, at least at the minute. You can hold angles and suppress areas when needed, but you're not stuck playing slow or passively if you don't want to. We have the Baker 3X sight, again, consistent and reliable. I almost forgot to add the 5MW red laser here, so here we go, fix that. Then the standard suppressor for now, although I'll be switching to the lightened suppressor when I unlock it. Does it currently take too long to unlock attachments for guns in this game? I know many players think it does. It can feel like a real grind without much of an exciting payoff. Anyway, 590mm factory barrel to stabilize the weapon and maintain strong consistency at range. Slim angled underbarrel for improved control without making the weapon feel heavy. 30 round fast magazine because this build leans towards a more active playstyle rather than pure suppression, and then standard FMJ ammo. If you've avoided LMGs because you feel like they're too slow and cumbersome, then this is a good entry point. It really doesn't feel like an LMG at all, which you may view as either being a good or bad thing. I like it a lot. DMRs now, and yes, it's still the SVDM. It remains more lethal than some alternatives while still feeling usable once you get comfortable with it. STO 3.5x scope for slightly more magnification without excessive tunnel vision. 25-point long suppressor for accuracy benefits while staying off the minimap. 620mm classic extended barrel for improved projectile velocity, leaning fully into the mid to long range strength of the weapon. Ribbed vertical underbarrel because this weapon shines when you're taking controlled shots from stable positions, and 10 round fast mag. We finish off with the hollow point rounds for increased headshot damage, but if you do want to use FMJ ammo and put the points elsewhere, I would understand that as well. What I actually end up doing most of the time with this weapon now is not using it as my primary. Instead, I opt to have it as a long range second primary on assault and then have a more aggressive gun for my primary slot. Right, onto sniper rifles, and I'm still going with the M2010 ESR. I'll be honest, I still don't do a massive amount of sniping, but this remains my most reliable option. SSDS 6x scope, flash hider, extended 26-inch carbon barrel, low profile stubby underbarrel, 5 round fast mag, match grade long range rounds, and the DLC bolt for rechambering rounds while staying in ADS. Simple setup, consistent performance, but I think a lot of frequent sniper users will go for the mini scout, at least for aggressive play, and I totally get that. Probably a great option for pure run and gun sniping. I just don't do much of it these days. And finally, the shotguns. For me, it's still the 18.5 KSK, because whilst one-shot shotguns feel amazing when they work, consistency wins more fights overall, especially in a game with terrible hit detection and netcode, which I think a lot of people consider Battlefield 6 to be. So this is a semi-auto shotgun, fast follow-up shots, forgiving in chaotic fights. So we have the ROM 1.75x sight, the 20-point blue laser because you will be hip firing, or at least you absolutely should be quite often, then the flash hider because minimap visibility isn't as big a concern with this playstyle if you're sticking to the indoor close range areas, then the basic 430mm barrel, rib stubby underbarrel for faster ADS transitions because I do like to have the option of hip firing or ADS for a shotgun that you'll be blasting away with for some further range kills sometimes, then the 8 round fast mag because why would you want less than that on a shotgun built to put out a lot of damage, then the buckshot ammunition. Reliable, simple, effective, give it a go if you haven't, you might be surprised, although this is a Battlefield game where I feel way less inclined to use a shotgun than a lot of previous titles due to the insane lethality of almost every single other gun in the game. And that's my updated list for the best guns for every class or category in Battlefield 6 heading into 2026. These are my picks based on what feels consistently strong for how I play, not universal truth, so drop your own builds and favourites in the comments, like for more, subscribe if you want more Battlefield content, and help me finally hit that 100k milestone, and YouTube is now suggesting another video of mine that it thinks you'll like. I'll see you over there.